Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Zoe. I'm an artist based in Philadelphia. My channel is about art, advice, and adventure. Today I am going to go on my first hike since I broke my foot. So I'm gonna bring you with me, talk a little bit about the experience, and bring you to one of my favorite parks. All right, let's go. So long story short, 2 months ago, I broke my toe pretty bad while I was slacklining. I had to get surgery. The recovery took like 2 months, and then literally the day before my doctor's appointment that I was like expecting him to give me the all clear, I got COVID. Today is a big deal because it's the first time I'm able to take myself to the park in like over 2 months. And this is something that I used to do all the time. This is one of my like comfort activities, I suppose, you know? Just going to the park and walking around and being in nature. Oh gosh, I have not done that in so long. And so I'm so excited to be doing that today. I'm gonna drive to the park. I'll see when I get there, and we'll talk a little bit more about some things that I learned over the past 2 months with the experience of breaking my foot and going through surgery and recovering from all that. So I'll see you at the park. And I'm driving, like I drove myself here, and I'm wearing hiking boots again. It kind of feels surreal. It's like, did the last 2 months even just happen? Like, was that real? Yeah, it was though. I'm really, really happy to be on the other side of it, to be pretty much almost fully healed, and to be able to walk around again, and to be able to drive myself to a park and walk around, even if it's freaking cold as heck outside. Oh God, it feels good to be like just in control and like able to leave my house if I want. I think that there are 3 big lessons that I am going to take away from this injury. I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about them as I walk around the park. So let's get moving because I am chilly. The first thing that I really had to learn these last 2 months is really how to ask for help and how to accept help from others who are offering it and who are willing to give it. I could not drive myself for the last 2 months because it was my right foot that was broken, and so I just couldn't I couldn't slam on the brakes if I needed to. So I could not drive. And so I needed to ask people to drive me everywhere. I mean, to be honest, I didn't really go many places besides work for the last 2 months just because I didn't want to have to ask anyone to drive me anywhere that besides the necessary places. Thank God I really have a support system that came through for me and that was willing to help me out. I was willing to drive me. My dad was willing to drive me. My brother drove me. My aunts drove me around. Even my cousins drove me around sometimes. And I really just came away feeling so blessed and reminded about the fact that I do have a huge support system of people who care about me and are there to help me when I'm having a hard time and going through an injury where I can't drive myself. So that was one of the biggest things though, just realizing that it's okay, I can ask for help and I can receive it. And it's okay. The 2 months of having an injury and recovering from that is how to really be grateful for the really little things that I do have and that do work. I just was thankful for my hands. I was like, wow, I'm so grateful that I can use my hands. I'm grateful that, I didn't break my back. I'm grateful that my back is not injured. Man, it really made me feel so grateful for having a functional body and for being able to recover and get eventually to a place where I can use my foot again and I can get around mobily and fine and I can drive myself. It really made me feel grateful for those things. And it made me realize, I think, that slight lack of freedom that I felt made me realize really how much freedom I do have. I don't know, I just got this repeated feeling every time I would get picked up from work, I was looking at the city lights and everything as I was passing things on the way home and just thinking about man, I wish I could drive myself right now so that I could go explore this place or go to a coffee shop or go get food somewhere instead of just being picked up and going right home. And I think I was wow, I can do that though. Once I'm healed, once I can drive again, which is now, I can do that. I have that freedom. I can just literally do whatever I want to do. Like, I think that one is still sinking in a little bit, and I'm going to see how that like translates to now that I'm back and I do have this freedom and I can drive myself around again. Like, do I show up in the way that I want? Like, am I going to actually do more things? I'm not totally sure. We'll see. But that's my hope. In addition to all that, I think one of the big outlets for me was to just like get outside, go for a drive, go to a park, go for a walk. And so not being able to do that, A, was a huge bummer, but B, like made me need to find a different outlet, which ended up being awesome because I picked up YouTube again, and I picked up like some photo editing again, and even doing some art again, and I was reminded of how good all of that felt and how much I really enjoy that. And so honestly, it was kind of a blessing in disguise, I know, because it reconnected me with a bunch of stuff that I kind of had gotten away from a little bit and forgotten like how much joy it brings me. So I'm grateful to remember that and to now hopefully take that out into this next phase of my life where I'm recovered and can do more again. And I hope to like film more and edit more and do more YouTube and be consistent with that. I've been working on my website even. I've been working on all this stuff and it's really been feeling good. So that was kind of the second lesson that I learned, is just like, I have that freedom. I have freedom. Whether I'm bedridden or not, I have the freedom to choose and create my reality. Doesn't mean I'm not going to feel shitty. It's also my job to feel those feelings fully, let myself feel shitty. But also know that I can choose to do something that's then going to bring me joy or peace or happiness or any type of feeling of freedom. Yeah. All right, let's go. In the last 2 months while being injured is simply that it's okay to rest, and that rest, truly resting, is productive. I think I had a lot of feeling of like, oh, this is like free time. I'm like off. I'm not necessarily working or doing anything else with my day, so I should be using this time to be like extra productive or something, or like get all these projects done that I've been wanting to do. But that is kind of harmful a little bit, because it tricks you into thinking that you can like get out of resting almost, you know, like there's kind of no way around it. When you need to rest, like you need to rest. Like when your foot is broken and you have surgery and you like, they tell you you have to just have your foot up like all the time, like you kind of just can't do anything else, and you just are forced to rest. Or like then you get COVID and you like literally can't leave your room. You're forced to just be like, okay, I guess I'm gonna just sleep all day and rest and like just do things that feel good and eat a bunch of soup. And that like ultimately, you know, my life is longer than those 2 months that I just experienced. It's longer than those 10 days that I had COVID, and it's okay. It's okay to just take that time to rest and just not do anything and not be quote unquote productive in like the typical sense of like getting work done. Yeah, it's just okay to rest, and it is productive to rest, and it is good to rest, and it is necessary to rest. That's one of the bigger things that I learned, and I'm really hoping I can take that into this next phase of life where I'm healing from the injury, and really just remember that like it is okay to just rest whenever and if ever I feel like I need to. And rest can also look like anything to you, you know? But I think it's good to be real with yourself about like what is resting and what is not resting, because I know that I told myself at times when I was like doing work, like editing or something, I'm like, oh no, I'm like resting because I'm chilling, I'm not moving, I'm not going anywhere. But like I wasn't fully resting my brain, I wasn't really resting my body, I wasn't really like laying down and giving my body a chance to just like completely recover. But it's good to do both. It's good to know what your limits are, what your boundaries are, and how much rest or what kind of rest you need on any given day. Sometimes rest can just look like being silent, being to yourself. Sometimes rest is sleeping. Sometimes rest is just watching a Netflix show. Rest can be many different things, but you gotta like play with it for yourself and ask yourself what would feel most restful and most rejuvenating on any given day, in any given moment. Because your needs are always changing too, you know? Like just a week ago, my needs were different than what they are now. So just, you know, give yourself that grace to change and to shift and to have ever-changing needs that you just have to continually check in with yourself and ask yourself, what's going on? What do you need? And trust me, this is something I'm struggling with in my life right now, and it's not easy, but it can be done. And just because you do it one moment doesn't mean you're going to do it every moment. And just because you don't do it in one moment doesn't mean you're never going to do it again, and doesn't make you bad or doesn't make it a failure, you know? Like, check in with yourself as much as you remember to. And if you don't, that's okay. And just notice that and say, oh, that was a moment where I didn't check in with myself. Next time that happens, I'll try to see that, notice it, and shift into, oh, hey, whoa, let me check in now. And that's all it is, just a learning experience. So, I mean, that's all life is, really. It's just a learning experience. So, those were like the lessons, the big lessons that I learned. Be present and let yourself rest. To remember that you have freedom even when you don't feel like you have freedom. And that help is only just one ask away. I encourage you to just look at something that you've been struggling with like this compassion and love and curiosity for like, you know, what lessons is this teaching me? What am I supposed to learn here? Because it doesn't necessarily always make you feel better, but it can help to shift your perspective enough that it can make it a little more bearable. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below about what your favorite part was, or if you resonated with any of this. peace and love. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you next Sunday. Don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss my videos every Sunday, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye. Have a wonderful week. Love you.